Hi there, it's Ricky from Moshville Times here once again. Tonight I'm delighted to welcome Syrian blackened death metal band Maysaloon. So tonight we have guitarist vocalist Jake, we've got guitarist Kodor, and we've got the bassist Dio. We have been told that we might have the drummer Jamal coming in as well, so let's see if we can get the whole band in. So for those that haven't heard Maysaloon, and after listening to their latest album, A Lip to Earth, A Lip to Heaven, and A Tongue to the Stars, it reminded me of Behemoth, Dissection, and especially with the orchestration, it reminded me of Septic Flesh. So I would definitely urge everybody to have a listen. So how are you guys doing? How are things today?
Good. We've been doing great.
Yeah.
What about you? How's it going?
Yeah, pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. Absolutely, as I said, delighted to speak to you guys. But well, I've got a number of questions for you, so it might be a long interview. So
it's okay.
So with the current world situation and the difficulties that you guys have to face with everyday life, it's extremely pleasing to hear that you guys have been busy at it and have never really stopped writing music. So although your last release, The Forgotten Dawn, was released in 2017, how did it finally feel to get A Lip to Earth, A Lip to Heaven, and A Tongue to the Stars out there for the masses to hear?
Well, the first thing I would like to say, thank you so much for hosting us at the Moshville Times. It's an honor. I remember when we released that debut, we also you guys did an interview for the release. It was great, and here we are again after
4 years.
4 years. So
it's great, honestly.
Yeah, we've been going through the songs many times. Like when you get to listen to your album at when it's finally mixed and everything.
Yeah.
And you get that feeling that's gonna be finally out, and
it's just excitement.
Yeah, excitement. We've been working on for years, and now actually, the thing is about living in Middle East, 1 year equals 100 years. So yeah, so it's putting a lot of effort and time into that, and now we're getting feedback, great feedback actually. So yeah.
Good. Is it fair to say then that some of the material was quite old, like a few years old already?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. One or two songs are 3 years old.
Yeah.
We started writing them way back then.
Yes, we were back in Syria.
We're still in Syria, and it took a journey.
Yeah. So did you use anything that was left over from A Forgotten Dawn, or was it all completely new material, or did you have riffs and idea from the debut album that you hadn't used?
Well, it was all different because we had. All right. It's totally different, this album, because the album before we had a different lineup. We had a different guitarist, and Kodor joined us after we released The Forgotten Dawn. We also released a couple of songs right after, but at that time we were having this change in the lineup, though we were already had the plans for the other album.
Yeah.
We had some certain vision for how it's gonna be, for choosing and creating our sound, trying to develop our sound. And still, I can tell you, we still don't have what we still there's something we still want to work on, and we'll be trying to find that progress. That's why we came to Lebanon in the first place.
Yeah. So with Kodor coming into the band, then did he kind of bring his influences into the songs as well?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, he used to be in he used to front melodic death metal band in Latakia, so he knows the kind of a thing, how it works. So it was a major add up to. Yeah,
it was easy, let me say, going into the band, and it was awesome, and the vision that he was talking about was there from the beginning, so I could pick up on it, and we just went from there.
Cool. Cool. Thanks very much for that, guys. Thanks very much. So for those that are new to the band, then how would you say it compares to the debut? And do you think, well, you kind of just answered that there. Like, do you think you've found the sound that you've been looking for with new material? What I was worried about with the album was, I don't know whether it was Dio. I don't know whether he was bringing in his glam metal influences, Motley Crue. No,
I'm sorry.
No, like, how would you say it compares to your debut sound-wise? Would you say it was heavier, faster?
Like how?
How does it compare to how is it different from the first album?
Oh yeah, in many ways. Maybe Dio would like to answer about that.
Yeah.
Like he said, in many ways. Of course, it's different in many ways. First, because I mean, in the old album, in our debut album, The Forgotten Dawn, we used to play like more technical and melodic death.
Yeah.
In this one, we changed our style to blackened death. This is like first thing that I want to talk about. The second thing, the first album we mixed and produced by ourselves. So the quality of the work that's been put on the internet, it's not that very good actually, because we're not experienced in this. For our second album, we've had someone who's an amazing producer actually.
Shout out to Ray Haj for doing this.
Cool.
Yeah, he's based in the UK though.
Yeah.
The guy, I met the guy in the UK when I performed at the Imperial War Museum, and he helped me in doing this performance thing. So he told me about let's mix your materials. I like the materials, and I was like, man, I've been trying to find a producer. So there you go.
And really that helped us along the way with the album, how it sounded in the end, because we got samples back, we got to work with materials that was better quality sounding, and it really made us see how it's gonna be. It was faster, it was heavier. Some parts we included, we emphasized the element of the orchestration, because we thought it serves the message of this album in particular. So it's definitely heavier, but although the first album was really good technical, it had some stuff, very fast stuff, passages, but this as a whole, it was much different than the first album, in our opinion, and heavier. And that.
Do you know
it's
what's
darker? It's much darker.
Yeah. Do you know what's especially pleasing is, like, when you're talking about your music, you've got a big smile on your face. It's as if it's one of the proudest things that you've done in your life, and it should be. I mean, I played Pillars of Creation last night on my radio show, and it's just, I love the Middle Eastern feel to it, but I love the Behemoth style, the Septic Flesh with orchestration as well. Keep on doing what you're doing. Keep on doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much, man. It means a lot.
More than welcome, mate. More than welcome. But with the band being based in Syria then, so how did you communicate your ideas to each other? Are you fortunate enough to be in the same vicinity as each other, or the times where communication was difficult and that maybe contributed to the 4-year delay in between albums?
All right. So it was no, wait. The thing is, it wasn't that hard when we were back in Syria, because listen, we've been when we started the band, metal music wasn't banned as it used to be before the war started, before the crisis. So it was kind of easier for us to communicate now, since no one is banning the music. We used to gather. We used to, like, I've met Khodr in a gig. He used to have they used to have gigs in Latakia, where it's a coastal area.
Yeah.
So I had to travel from Damascus to attend the guys, and they were like covering dark funeral, mayhem, all kind of sick things. So yeah, it was so sick. For
There I met Jake. Like, this is way 2016 and late 2016, and I met with Jake, and then I went to Damascus and met the other guys, Dio and the whole gang, and we clicked from there musically. It was easy to travel in a way because because you can easily take the bus and go to the other state, you know.
you can do that.
So we used to meet up a lot, and then I moved to Damascus for a while because my university was near there, and we just used to hang out all the time, and this is how I joined the band.
Yeah, mostly we used to hang out, blah blah blah, and when I met Khudr, we were wasted though, like.
Definitely.
And you know, this guy, I've never seen him, or never gathered when we are sober. Like I've never seen him sober. It has been for like 7 to 7 years. I've never know him sober since that day, and we've been creating music since that day. So.
Well, you're talking to a Scotsman, so I'm a wee bit partial to a wee Jack Daniels or a pint of lager. So he's in good company. He's in good company.
Yes, yes, it is.
By the way, I think Jamal tried to get on there. So if he wants to try it again, I'll let him in. But it's kind of good to not talking to the drummer anyway. So anyway. No, I'm only kidding. If he comes in again, I'll let him in. If he comes in, I'll let him in.
We will try to reach out for him. Like we'll get him.
Sure.
I hope so.
So you guys are prolific songwriters, but I was wondering if there's also an opportunity for you to release music videos to coincide with the release of the album. I mean, I know that there's a couple of lyric videos, but are you looking to get together and do a similar video to that of Warsphere from the debut album?
Look, we're not actually satisfied because when we started the crowdfunding for the album, we wanted to have that kind of amount would allow us to make a music video, a proper music video. Yeah. But unfortunately, we didn't hit the target, so we had to go like other ways, lyrics video, blah blah blah. But we had a certain thing we wanted to do, and we are working on it. We're gonna be releasing a music video in a way or another, yeah, and hopefully in next year. We also like playthrough videos. We have like playthrough videos, even a studio session. We did a studio session. It's a live studio session. We are releasing like two songs. We did that with little bit production, blah blah blah. Like
to come out.
Yeah, because it's not like you're living in a place where you can provide all of that. It costs your liver, man.
Yeah.
I would sell some organs.
Yeah. So the two, sorry, I meant like the two songs that you recorded in the studio, a live performance, is that still to be released?
Still to be released.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, cool. So any ideas, will it be like the beginning of next year before it'll be out, or do you think it'll be out this year, the two songs?
I don't think it's gonna be we're gonna like make it this year, but probably the next year.
Sure.
Because like we're gonna be busy somehow, Christmas, blah blah blah. So this is how it is. Cool. I remember like oh my god, I remember like one of the people I told him about like we're having a holiday on Christmas, and he was like, "You guys have Christmas in Middle East?" And I was like, "Dude, you know that Jesus is from Middle East. You know that Jesus is. Do you know how hot is it in there? Like seriously."
I know. Some people are ignorant, aren't they? So, or just thick. But anyway. But Jake, you also had a solo performance at the Imperial War Museum in 2019. How did that come about? How did it feel to stand and perform in the museum in front of the general public as well as metalheads? I think it was Pillars of Creation that you played, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I also performed Mott, by the way.
Okay.
But they didn't. We didn't. Yeah. Because it was like I performed twice, like down in the and up there, and So up there, I had to perform 2 songs, so to fill like time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it.
It must have been quite cool, but worrying as well, because you had the general public and there was like old men and women there and saying like, what is this racket? What is this noise? But it was also pleasing to see that there was a metal crowd appreciating the music that you were doing.
Man, I would tell you, I was totally overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Like for many reasons. First of all, like it wasn't easy for me to, like, seriously, like, I'm a guy who lived in Damascus, and he just took me from Damascus and put me in the UK in Imperial War Museum and perform like that. This is how it was for me. And I remember at the World Metal Congress, I was a speaker at the World Metal Congress. I remember standing next to Barney from Nepal and Death, and I remember like I didn't know how it was big until Barney said, "Oh shit, you're performing at the Imperial War Museum." I said yes. Then I thought like, yeah, that's cool. So also like the guy guitarist Aaron from Paradise Lost, he lended me his guitar. And I met the guy before the performance. He's such a nice guy. He's very lovely and very supportive.
Yeah.
And to me, I thought to myself, why would a guy like he's an icon, literally. And I remember like he grabbed 2 guitars and he grabbed like the pedal and everything, and he came like, choose what you want to perform with. And I said, you don't even know my name. You're very. I totally respect, man. It was yeah. Like this is another reason why it was so overwhelming. The people, when I met anyone, like he would just instantly look at me. We cannot believe that you are from Syria. Why? Do you think you still live in tents? Like it is something else. Like really, like if you would pass next to me and I would say I'm performing metal, and he would be like, yes, okay. But then I would say I'm from Syria and be like, what the fuck? So yeah, this is how it is for me. And I remember the first sentence I said when I entered the museum, feels like home, because I saw a lot of tanks, a lot of it was like
Yeah.
But do you know something, that'll always be something that you'll remember, and it was also something to promote the band's Maysaloon. So it was certainly a trip worthwhile, and it was certainly a brilliant performance as well, and it was well received by the crowd. So I tip my hat to you. So well played, well played.
Thanks. Thank you so much.
But again, Jake, I'm going to ask yourself the question here. With you being the main vocalist of the band, do you do the lyrics for the songs, or do you welcome contributions from the other band members with the lyrics?
We usually have we have a lyricist who do the like yeah. The guy have been working with us since the very beginning. Like he's that kind of a person behind the curtains. Yeah. And shout out to Waddah Tawil, because he did an amazing job. He's a brilliant writer, because he used to work in a theater, and he's that Shakespeare guy.
Yeah, and he loves history.
Yeah, he loves history at the same time. Yeah, and because when I met that guy, I told him, listen up, I can write the lyrics, I can do that thing, but I don't want to do that, because I want you to find a specific way. I want you to create something. If you would notice the lyrics, it's kind of very poetic, you know, and yeah, it's very intentional.
Yeah,
like I would actually, we wrote like we write lyrics for like many songs in our literaries, but mostly he does the main thing, because he had this vision, like, you know, he had the,
and it's usually we tell him the theme for as example, for example, the recent album Elite Earth, we told him about the theme we're doing, and then he knew what we wanted, and then he this is how we work. He sends us drafts, and then we edit them, we use what we want, we edit, we add,
all of us, we contribute to that
until we have the final product that we're satisfied with.
Exactly.
That's how it usually works.
So does he create the song titles as well, or do you give him the song titles and say, this is what we want with this song, and he writes the lyrics based on the song title, or does he create?
Actually both. Like sometimes he does the lyrics and he sends us, we do the music. Sometimes I do the music. You know how it works. Nothing. We're very chaotic, but it works.
And we usually choose the names.
Yeah,
Mainly.
because like we spend a lot of time researching and looking. We've been trying actually to add a library section in our into our website because like it's not an easy thing to talk about that kind of it because it's totally obscure. It's not exposed to anyone, even for us, like people who live in this area. We don't know much about our mythology. That's what I'm trying to fight, I would say. Because come on, it's the very main thing. Like actually, and recently, like someone would say, why would you talk about history in such like very like dark times? Like people here are starving.
Yeah.
But to me, it's a matter of generations. Like if I didn't talk about history now, I would not trust anyone like after who would take the risk and do it, because there is a lot of risk in that. You're talking about a very pagan thing in a very conservative community.
Yeah,
sure.
That's threatening.
So it's history.
Yeah, but like I've always been that guy. We've all been like we've been trying to find a way to we don't want to make a clash with the public here.
Yeah,
because no one would want that. But still we get like threats. We get it's usual here actually.
Yeah, because I've noticed when I was doing my research that I can't remember the name of the venue, but you had played there before, but they wouldn't bring you back, so you had to search like for a different venue. Is that the type of adverse effect that Maysaloon is having because you're playing metal music in the Syrian country? Yeah,
of course. You know, when it's difficulties we're having to find a venue, and sometimes we change the venues, and it's normal.
It was fakra.
Because we usually try not to really expose that, hey, we're playing metal. No, but we come as musicians, and we used to go through a maze of paperwork and government thing. You have to just to issue a paper or like a license when you have to go play somewhere. And it's not metal. You can't say it's metal. It's usually acoustic guitar or classical or DJ or something. And we just go out and play. And I remember from a personal story way back in 2013, my first gig, metal gig. We just went and did it, and we knew we had a risk factor in our heads, and like they might come in and close the venue or something. That's how it usually is. We just pick the venue, plan the event ourselves, everything ourselves. We pay ourselves, and then we hope for the best. And it's been great. It's been great, honestly. We used to play under mortars. You know this story back in Damascus. This old Arabian Damascene house. It's with no roof. We used to playing and then stopping the drummer. Is this the drums or a mortar that fell in the next neighborhood or something? That's how we used to play.
Yeah, because the venue is located in a place in Damascus where
just close to the clashes.
Yeah, close to the. So you would. I don't know. Actually, it's surprising how people used to like live normally in such a like I don't know. I now I can't understand my situation. Like I would, if I'm now in that situation, I wouldn't do it. Yeah. Totally. Like seriously, like it's not even like when we try to like when we remember the all kind of things. It's okay what we say about it because back in the day we felt nothing about it. Yeah. Like okay, you got a mortar, blah blah blah. You've heard the explosion. It's okay.
Go on.
You go on. You go back to your place the day after. There is nothing. But we felt that. Now we're feeling that.
Yeah, after
like,
we left.
Yeah. Like now, if I wouldn't go back. No.
Well, listen, again, I've got to tip my hat to you because obviously because of the war, but also you're constantly fighting the powers that be to just play music. All you guys want to do is just play music, not offend anybody, and just let the whole world know about Maysaloon. So hopefully with your latest album and with the amount of reviews coming from all over the world, you'll get that chance. It's a shame like how some countries are, but you've got to realize at the same time, we're all lucky to be alive, you know, especially with what's happened in the last 2 years, you know, so absolutely crazy. But yes, was there anything that you guys had done differently between recording A Lip to Earth, A Lip to Heaven and A Tongue to the Stars to that of the debut album that you'll take going forward? Or do you feel that you've got a settled formula in the recording front? Do you think now that you've got Ray, for example, would you use him again for your next release? Or what do you think?
Like you mean new material?
Yeah, like was there anything that you learned from the debut album that you took going to this album that you'll take going to your next release? Like the way that you recorded the album, who produced the album for you? So when you come to doing your next release, do you think you'll use that same formula again, or do you think you'll do something different?
Yeah, like most probably I'm gonna be choosing the same producer because look, when I wanted to produce that Lip to Earth, Lip to Heaven, I went so high. I've been trying to find Dan Swano, Peter Tactigreen, like finding great names. Then I thought to myself, these guys are having like 10 bands and more like that in 1 year, and they mixing for the whole. I thought to myself, my record would sound like any other record.
Okay.
They're great. Like Dan Swano is the icon. Peter is the icon. Like, but then I realized I would find my own Peter. You know, it's yeah, like, and I thought to myself, he maybe could like from the same region, so we could have the same frequency.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah.
It worked. I would say this whole album is from 0 to 100 is very original. Like all people who worked on that are from the same region, and like we've been trying to create our own image and sound and vision.
Yeah.
So we could, like, when we want to perform that and we want to talk about that, it's totally our thing, you know.
Yeah.
And if I may add something to this, the way we recorded the album, it's really with the time that we had, the 4 years time that we had with the recording, we changed a lot of things. We found stuff along the way. You know, we recorded the guitars over and over and over, and every time we learned something that, okay, this is what we want. It's been that kind of a learning process, and we're happy with the way, like Jake said, with the production, with all that sound. Yeah.
I mean, every recording's a learning curve. I mean, it's only your second album, so there will be things that you'll take going forward. And every band learns with every release. And can I say about Dan Swano? I've interviewed him, and we spoke for like 2 hours. Absolute thorough gentleman. What a gentleman he is. So yeah, brilliant guy.
A legend.
Brilliant guy.
All right.
Okay then, so regarding the songs, the construction of the songs, are there the main songwriters in Maysaloon, or does the whole band contribute to the making of the songs?
Like songwriting?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
whole band.
yeah, we do it, all of us, because it's at the end of the day, it's a band. That's where we are different from single artists.
Yeah.
So like you can't perform in a band where you are like compose the whole, like, even if I or Khadur or Dio composed the whole album, it wouldn't sound like if we did it all of us.
Yeah.
That's the core of the thing, actually.
Yeah. And we usually write riffs individually, you can say, and then we bring it to, yeah, I write something, Dia writes something, and sometimes we write a lengthy thing, like half
sometimes
a song, quarter
sometimes
of a song.
I wake up with the song, a whole song. I go to the guys like, here it is. Like,
And then
we
the
add,
touches.
we do the touches, blah blah, solos.
Cool.
Yeah,
It's a group effort. Yeah, it's a whole thing. It's a whole.
and it's random. It's random.
Yeah. So Dio, is Jake the guy that would send you a riff at 4 o'clock in the morning saying, this is the best thing I've ever came up with?
Yes.
Yes, it happens. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you do some of the songwriting yourself, Dio?
Yes, actually.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. No, definitely. What about Jamal as well? Does he come in with ideas?
Jamal, mostly we sent because we didn't have a lot of time together in the same vicinity. So we kept him in the loop. We wrote structures and then sent it to him, and then he adds and changes the way it sounds. You know how drums, when you have an idea, but then like the drummer comes in and really transforms it.
He fucks it up.
That's what he did.
In a good way.
We liked it. Yeah.
Good. No, that's excellent. Thanks very much. But see, when it comes to negotiating what goes in and what stays in and what goes out of a song, is there like a vote, or how does that work then? How's the negotiation? Like whether to take this part out of the song or whether to put this in or whatever?
How we negotiate, like I like this part or I don't like this part.
Yeah.
Do this.
We bully each other.
Yeah.
That's what we do. Like, yeah,
True.
That's what actually bands do. Like, all of them.
Yeah, he always tells me, take your silly ass riff and leave.
Yeah, I am a witness to this.
Well, that's what I thought. I thought they would be like fisticuffs in the studio or blood in the walls and things like that.
No. We're cool with bullying each other, yeah.
Good stuff. But also looking at your social media, things seem to be very settled now in the band members front. So how do you think you keep it all together, and how often do you actually get together?
Like how we often like go hang out or something.
Yeah. Here in Lebanon.
Here in Lebanon, we're basically living like very close from each other because Lebanon is very close. Is very
Beirut.
Yeah, it's small. So like back in Syria, he used to live in another, like I would say, region in another state. So it was hard in Syria a little bit, but here it's like we're living in the same city. So we hang out from time to time.
Cool, excellent.
Going for a drink, getting drunk,
Playing,
getting drunk again. Playing again.
That's just disgusting behavior. Absolutely disgusting. But yeah. Yeah, so a lip to earth, a lip to heaven, and a tongue to the stars. By the way, that isn't easy to say. It's your second album. It's your second album that you've released independently then. So I know some bands prefer it that way, with no pressure on timescales or pressure from the label. But have you had any interest from a label?
Like if some labels contacted us or something.
Yes.
Yes, we actually we've been contacted from many labels, but they're mainly
just promoting.
Yeah, like I because it was the plan to release it independently. So yeah. I would say I'm only taking distributing deals in order to keep the independency, but we were actually aiming to join some label, and yeah, we're hoping
when things are more clear.
Because at the end of the day, a label would ask you about touring and performing, and I guess they get scared a little bit because we live in Beirut, because we're from the Middle East. If you want to talk, but it's now totally different.
Mm-hmm.
Like we are able to tour. actually, and I've been trying actually to working on it independently as well.
Good. No, definitely, because it's an album definitely worth promoting, and record labels should certainly sit up and take notice of what you've released in this album. But you're leading me on to my next question about it's definitely worth promoting on the live front as well. Do you have any gigs, tours? Are you getting a chance to play it live?
Well, not now, you know.
Not now, but we have the plans of tours, and like touring is the main goal now here.
Playing the album, not playing the music.
We could perform. Listen, we could perform in Lebanon now, but I wouldn't spend that energy
and money
on that.
Yeah,
because like it's the possibilities of you getting money from a metal gig in the Middle East is beyond zero. So
it's very low.
So I'm actually this is frustrating in a way.
Yeah,
I would say. Yeah, like why it's totally my right to perform my songs to anyone. I would perform. There's never in history of Syria like any band who toured, metal band, I would say.
Yeah.
So we've been trying to make it out that we were gonna be the first ever Syrian band to tour.
Hopefully one day.
Hopefully.
Well, just remember, if you ever make it into the UK, remember there is a smaller country called Scotland, just a wee bit, because there's many countries that say that they do a UK tour and then they just play in London and England and they forget about Ireland and Wales and Scotland. Scotland does have a good metal scene as well. So if you ever get the chance to come to the UK, definitely let me know and I'll get you in touch with promoters and get you playing Glasgow, get you playing Scotland, get you playing Ireland and things. So if you ever make it to the UK, let me know.
Man, people like us wouldn't miss that opportunity to visit Scotland, man. What are you talking about?
You're just after the whiskey. That's what it is. You're after the whiskey.
He got us.
There you go.
Yeah.
And the scenery, actually, and the weather.
Well, I would bring a jumper. I would bring a jumper. You'll need it.
I know.
But because you can't tour, is that why you decided to record a couple of songs in the studio for it to be released then? I know some bands in the UK, they done like a virtual gig. So they played to like an empty venue, but they had cameras and things. But is that why you guys are doing it in the studio? Just to keep the name of Maysaloon alive?
In a way, how the bands they're doing virtual gigs. You know, you've seen we've been following the Behemoth. They've done virtual gigs, and Mephoresh and a couple of other bands. I find it's such a lovely thing that happened out of the pandemic. To stay in touch with the people, even though it's totally different experience not having the fans in front of you, but. It's very nice because we love that watching those shows, and actually, we wouldn't have a problem doing it, but we don't have the
equipment. We don't
necessary.
Have the necessary. We don't have the. I would say
internet speed.
We don't have internet. We barely have power, sir.
Yeah, here we have barely power.
And by the way, by mentioning that Behemoth performance, it's fucking epic. Like the last one, it's fucking epic.
Yes.
Yes.
But that's what can happen when you've got a record label behind you that can give you the money to do it, you know? So maybe one day just keep dreaming and keep releasing the music that you're releasing. And who knows, one day.
We're very stubborn. We will not stop. We will not. I guarantee. Not until maybe when I die, it will be cool. Until that time, we're gonna be blowing your minds with that music.
Well, that's what leads me on to almost my last question. So what's next for Maysaloon then? You released the album in August, but some of the songs, imagine, have been a few years old. So have you got any new material? Are you going to release a couple of singles? Are you going to release an EP maybe summer of next year or anything like that? What are you planning? What's next for Maysaloon?
All right. We've been actually planning to on the time where we are like planning to tour and performing a blah blah blah. We're gonna also be writing some kind of I would say it's an EP, but the point is like to create that we have some certain concept we want to deliver.
Yeah.
And we've been writing like it's a huge contest actually, containing like some kind of, it's kind of theatrical. It's gonna be a pretty heavy and new experience.
Okay.
So yeah, like, do you imagine a theater, heavy metal, I would say blackened death metal and Oriental music? This is a thing.
Yeah.
And all that mythology thing, we're gonna be adding conversations, God conversation, God speaking to each other. This is how it is gonna be. So the point is also to create some visual base, because listen, this mythology we're speaking about, this whole thing, we don't actually have like you wouldn't find artists like doing the maybe reimagining the gods or like having pictures of them, like, you know, the whole thing. You wouldn't find even people like speaking about that, such as they talk about Norse mythology, I would say, or Egyptian mythology. So yeah, like it's taking more effort than we thought it would do, but the point is actually to create that vision thing. So it's about finding some creator and that music video, and you have the new release, and we're gonna be also like performing. So this is the plan.
Good.
And we already begun writing a few things.
We actually began
here and there.
already.
Yeah, small riffs and ideas. We'll see where it takes us.
Well, you know exactly where to send it to. I'll review it from Moshville Times. I'll play it on Moshville Radio as well. So we'll certainly promote it because it's definitely worth promoting. So yeah, you know exactly where to send it when you've got the new material. I also like the sound of the video that you're thinking of doing. What's probably started as a small idea is just completely grown. But I like the sound of it. But listen, I'm coming towards the end of the interview, but I could probably start another 40-minute Zoom session because we're now going to talk about the instruments that you use. So we'll start with yourself, Dio, and your bass. So what's your bass setup? What bass do you have? What model do you use? Any pedals?
My bass is chord action 4-strings bass with passive pickups.
Cool.
And I have an amplifier. I don't have a pedal yet, but I'm planning to, make a pedal board or something to have my own sound.
Developing his sound.
Yep, I'm working on it.
So I thought he was getting the bass there. Is that him getting it? Oh, he's getting his guitar. He wasn't thinking of you. He's getting his guitar.
It's that thing.
This is what we recorded the guitars on.
It's the guitar we recorded the album with.
It's a Jackson Dinky.
Beautiful guitar.
The model. It's been the heavy metal, the drop low tuning guitar in the family.
It has a special story actually. Like Khodr told me, he got it from
way back in Syria when they were imposing restrictions on exports, imports, and I wanted a guitar that really this level I can count on, and I didn't want this. I wanted the Flying V one, the Randy Rhoads.
Teenager.
That was over 10 years ago, but then nothing was left, but for this baby, so I got it, and it's been with me for since then.
That's a beautiful guitar, But just 2 wee seconds there, like Dio, see how you talked about you've got a 4-string. Did you ever think about having a 5-string?
No, actually, I thought about having 6 strings.
would you actually use the 6 strings, or will you just say, "Oh no, I'm just showing off"?
Of course, I use them.
No, he's not planning to have 6 strings.
Yes, I do.
So also with the Jackson guitar, then I saw it was a 6 string, but you never considered doing the 7 either.
No. Yeah, although I would love the 7 string. Yeah, I would love it, but it just feels I don't know, authentic in a way. I'm not talking badly in any way on the 7 string, but it's a different world. It's a different experience. Yeah. Maybe we can one day do an album with all 7 strings and Dio gets the 6 strings, and we'll see what we come up with.
Yeah, have a bottle.
He's not liking it.
7.
Like, to me personally, it's actually a great idea, but to me personally, I'm that kind of old school person. So I do have a BC Rich Iron Bird one, the old cut, and I love it. I love BC Rich guitars. I actually had this guitar since the very first day. I wanted to have BC Rich guitar since I started to listen to Death and that Chuck Schuldiner thing, and
You took the word right out my mouth.
Yeah, so it was like having BC Rich is like having a piece of Chuck.
Yeah, I knew. Do you know? I knew you were going to say that. As soon as you said BC Rich, I was going to wait until you stopped talking, and then I was going to bring Chuck in. But Chuck Schuldiner is BC Rich. Brilliant guitars, brilliant guitars. But listen, guys, I can honestly say it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I wish you guys all the best. I hope to see you in the live front one day. And I hope I get to shake your hand, and I hope to get a couple of beers and a wee dram of whiskey as well. But hopefully one of those days, when the world becomes a better place again, we'll get to see that. And like I say, if ever you get to the UK, let me know, and I'll put you in touch with a couple of promoters up here as well. All right, guys. So I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much for having us, man, for hosting us on the Moshville Times, and it's such an honor.
It is.
You're going to make me start crying here, right? But see if you are to record an EP or something like that, get in touch again, because this will not be the last interview that we have. We'll certainly be keeping an eye on what it is that you guys do. So you'll definitely be hearing from me again. All right.
Okay.
All right. Good luck, guys.
Right.
Thank you so much, man.